One of the most important features of TVET is its orientation towards the world of work and the emphasis of the curriculum on the acquisition of employable skills. The University of the Southern Caribbean is a TVET training center offering training to the community. USC uses the TVET qualifications to help students learn various skills they would need to enter the workforce. USC, as a TVET training center, is therefore well placed to train the skilled and entrepreneurial workforce needed on the island of Barbados. University of the Southern Caribbean is a private co-educational institution with a diverse student body with three locations in the twin island of Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, along with sites in Antigua, Barbados, Guyana, and St. Lucia. USC is a faith-based university. This presentation will provide an overview of the collaboration between USC and the TVET Council. An important characteristic of TVET is that it can be delivered at different levels. This means that TVET institutions can respond to the different training needs of learners from different socioeconomic and academic backgrounds and prepare them for gainful employment and sustainable livelihoods. The youth, the poor, and the vulnerable of society can therefore benefit from TVET. As the economic, cultural, and technological changes unfold, the active youth all over the world need to develop knowledge, attitudes, and skills. TVET plays a very important role in the economic and development of countries, and well-trained and motivated workforce maximizes output to expedite socio-economic development. Discussed will be the mission of TVET and USC, the financial and social impact of TVET training, the successes and the limitations of the collaboration and program, and recommendations for improvement. The mission of the University of the Southern Caribbean is to seek to transform ordinary people into extraordinary servants of God to humanity through a holistic tertiary educational experience. What sets USC apart from other institutions? USC embraces a multi-dimensional approach to teaching and learning, intellectual curiosity, programs that matter, professors that care, explore concepts, solve problems, cultural diversity, a puppetry of faculty, staff, and students from over 38 countries worldwide. Spiritual nurture, a holistic education that embodies the development of mind, heart, soul, and hand. Moral integrity, a meaningful philosophy of life which promotes honorable living in service to God and man. USC has a philosophy that espouses the philosophy of Seventh-day Adventist Church. It teaches that true education is the harmonious development of hand, the heart, and the head. Excellence in teaching, scholarship, research activities, educational innovations, and dedication to principles of Christian education rank high in the value system of the university. The university views truth as forthcoming from God and an expression of the nature of God and the Bible as a divine frame of reference which encompasses all truth. The TVET Council is a statutory organization set up to make Barbados more competitive through the development of its workforce. It is mandated to plan, coordinate, and establish standards and qualifications for the disciplines of TVET. TVET's mission is to develop a competent, certified, and competitive workforce in Barbados and the region through the promotion and coordination of demand driven technical and vocational education and training. Technical and vocational education and training, which is the TVET Council, is simply education to prepare people, students, job seekers, the employed, and the self employed for the world of work and business, also known as workforce training. It includes all programs and courses that contributes towards the development of the knowledge, technical skills, attitudes, and the core skills essential to being competitive in the world of work. What is meant by core skills? Communications, applying and using numbers, information and communication technology, problem solving, working with others, improving one's own learning and performance. It can be assumed that companies benefit from qualified graduates of TVET institutions, but do not specifically contribute to the cost of their training. They only contribute in the case of on-the-job training or when they request off-the-job training from providers. There is a training fund established. Companies contribute to the fund and are reimbursed from the fund for employees attending the training. The economic rationale of such funds is that such companies face the risk of poaching trained employees they may underinvest in training. The establishment of a training fund, financed through employer contributions, for example, a payroll levy, allows to equalize the risk of poaching and results in the increase of investment in training. It seems that corporate social responsibility as a motive for private support of education institutions is on the rise. There are several companies that make donations to educational institutions. USC applied for 2 such donations and was fortunate to be added to the list of one of those companies. Direct pay of tuition is another way the project is financed. Either the students of the company they work for will pay for the training, or the company themselves will pay for the training. There are several expenses associated with running a TVET center. TVET costs can be divided into direct costs, including apprentice wages, salaries for training personnel, teaching material, equipment, building infrastructure, and indirect costs such as tax expenditures and dropout costs. These expenses are identified on this slide and may vary from month to month based on the training being offered. The USC TVET project receives income from the employer fund. Additionally, income is also received from tuition payment. Tuition fees were introduced through the educational system as a cost-sharing mechanism. The table on the screen provides an overview of the fees charged for each qualification. Parallel to the fee policy, a variety of programs and mechanisms to mitigate the social consequences of the increased cost of TVET for households have been introduced, and they are now being planned and set up. Additionally, some programs receive a monthly stipend to be paid by training institutions. USC is not receiving such a stipend at this time. The estimated monthly income is shown here. This, of course, will vary from month to month based on the classes being offered. This table shows the economic impact of USC TVET project. The mean rating of each of the items under consideration were computed as presented on this table. The computed means were then compared with theoretical mean rating of 3.0 to determine the economic state of the programs. From this table, a majority of the respondents responded in the affirmative for all items but one, which indicated the bad economic state of the communities involved before the start of the TVET program in those areas. The remaining items showed that the program has improved the economic standards of the communities concerned. As indicated by the survey results, all the issues relating to the economic status of the communities involved proved that the economic state of the respondents was not the best before the start of the program. The social impact of the TVET program is shown on this table. Respondents were asked to rate items on a yes and no basis of their perception of the social status contributions of the programs. As depicted on this table, respondents were positive yes of majority 7 of the items as against 3 that they responded negatively to a no. It should be evident that the state of livelihood in the communities was now better than before, that the result of unemployment has attendant social, economic, political, and psychological consequences. As to how far the program has been able to address the basic skills deficits and the matching of supply with demand was also a great impact that the communities had to realize that TVET should concentrate on the actual needs of the labor market and focus on the output. Design flexible programs that serve the needs of production and service sectors and design practices and learning experiences that best serve job requirements. This is demonstrated by the results on this table. Every major project needs a clean scope. These are the boundaries that define what the project wants to achieve, what will be included, and what it wouldn't focus on. TVET has a system that is no different. This allows for a win-win outcome for the various groups that are affected in the system. The qualifications have clearly defined objectives. It is understood that in order to be effective, TVET needed to be a competency-based assessment. but competency is sometimes used with different meanings. Also, there need to be some balance with the size of each competency standard. You don't want to end up with a complete job role in one standard. TVET Council has mastered this. Would you go to a surgeon that had never used a scalpel? No. I would want her to have done some practice first. Practice meaning practical application of the skills and knowledge. Practice meaning repeating it until you get it right, even under conditions that are not ideal. TVET USC project has training programs for all persons working with the different qualifications. There is a planned, structured, and supervised program by someone who can give feedback and guidance. TVET Council USC project believes practice makes perfect. But how do you know how much practice your surgeon has done? Or more importantly, how perfect her skills are? This requires assessment. To assess competency, you look for evidence of skills being applied correctly and consistently while dealing with realistic workplace issues. This is how you can be confident someone really knows what they are doing. TVET has perfected the art of doing this. Training providers need to have experience in the skills and knowledge they are teaching. TVET has done a good job ensuring qualified persons are hired, and this needs to be hands-on experience in up-to-date industry practices and technologies and this is seen as being important. This can be a challenge even for trainers who have come out of the industry. They may have been teaching for some years and lost touch with the latest skills and practices. So, a good relationship with industry can help trainers to keep their own skills and knowledge up to date. And this is the purpose of the TVET USC project, and it has been achieving its purpose. Many of the graduating learners learn with a good concept of customer service. This is weaved into most courses. This has provided for a better workforce in their relations with the community. Learners are only paired with regard to their skills and experience. There have been a few limitations. USC struggles to find trainers and assessors competent in the particular area or qualification. There are some approved assessors that receive the training but are not familiar with the objectives. There are many new certified assessors. A new training center would need experienced assessors. Training facilities are reluctant to hire newly trained assessors. Also, with regard to the training, it is difficult to find qualified and experienced assessors. TVET training at USC Barbados is changing in terms of structure, programs, processes, and practices in order to be effective in improving the quality of learning outcomes, making it more accessible and attractive to all, and ensuring it is relevant and connected to the world of work. Therefore, it is recommended that there be an awareness of the role and function of USC TVET. The role of the TVET Council is to establish standards and qualifications for Barbados's technical and vocational education and training system. Some functions of TVET are to establish occupational standards, establish training priorities, tests, qualifications, and accreditation, and award national career vocational qualifications. It was noted that even though TVET has been mandated by the Barbados government, There seemed to be a disconnect between the learners, TVET Council, USC, and employers. Some employers seem not to have an understanding of the TVET qualifications, and hence the job being offered do not consider the TVET qualifications. Also, a good number of USC graduates are women who tend to be interested in working in their homes in self-employed businesses. In this respect, if these women are able to secure the necessary resources, they will be unable to successfully start their business. This is mainly due to a lack of access to capital. In addition, there are not enough employment opportunities, particularly for women, the majority of whom want to work independently from within their homes are in need of startup capital or access to credit to purchase materials for initiating business activities. The state should therefore have a system to support these women. The donor community has a role to play in helping to harmonize the TVET system. The current practice whereby each donor works separately and leaves when specific projects ends does not help the country very much in terms of vocational training. Continuity and sustainability hardly occur in practice because efforts are not pulled together to consolidate interventions. This is the end of this presentation. I want to thank you for listening. On this slide, you will find the references, the sources that were used to access and put together this information. Again, thank you for listening.